boy in the corner. It's your boy. It's Kavi's corner.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Kavi's Corner, your daily Australian Open roundup show brought to you by the Game to Love Tennis podcast channel/network. We had our first couple of quarterfinals. The top half has now been complete on both the men's and women's side. We're going to get right into it for you. Beginning with, who do we got? First, Vika Azarenka, the two-time champion, is through now to the semifinals. Here we go from Australian Open. For the first time since 2013, Vika is going to the Aussie Open semifinals. There you are. Nice photograph there. Focus in her eyes, the fist pump. I love the little tennis ball necklace as well. Necklace pendant, I should say. And here was the final. We'll get into these a bit more, and I will do an in-depth on this match, as well as a couple of others. So Vika takes it 6-4, 6-1, surprising the number 3 seed in a very, very nice matchup. Great tennis from both players, and a little bit of love from both players as... First, Pegula, Jesse Pegula says, tough one tonight, but much respect as always to the champ, Vika. Great match as always. And she puts her hands in prayer, saying thank you. And then Vika responds, saying, till we battle again, with a heart. Gotta love the sportspersonship, the camaraderie. And hey, also, I just want to let you guys know, the GTL Podcast Network, we are approaching 50,000 subscribers. This is our goal now. This is what we're shooting for. So please help us get to that number. 50,000 subs is what we're looking for by the end of this tournament. So we got a few more days. So please help us out there. And also give this video a like, give it a share, comment, and all that stuff. And we appreciate all the support we get from everybody. And thanks for watching all of our segments. Not just this one or the play-by-play. We've got new segments as well. So always stay tuned to the network and see what we've got going on. All right. Up next, we've got the Greek god, Stefanos Tsitsipas. All right. It says semifinal secured for Steph. This is from the Australian Open. At Steph Tsitsipas at Oz Open AO 2023. The Lions roar. They all got the Lions roar, don't they? Here we go. Stefanos with a 6-3, 7-6, 6-4 victory over 21-year-old Czech youngster Yuri Lehecka, who had a phenomenal tournament. We'll go into that a little bit on him, but real quick, a little bit more on Steph. This is from Vunch at Vunch V2K. Says Stefanos Tsitsipas is now 6-0 in major quarterfinals. Pretty impressive number there. Reaches his 4th Australian Open semifinal. Tsitsipas saved 8 out of 8 break points versus Lehecka and 22 out of 26 break points versus Jannik Sinner. Also, he's only dropped 2 sets in the entire tournament, and that was the match versus Jannik Sinner where they went to 5. And then also, this is a really big stat actually. Tsitsipas. He has a 5-0 head-to-head versus Khachanov, which is his semi-final opponent. So that's a really that's a big confidence booster to know that you've gone 5-0. Although Khachanov in the last little bit has really picked up his game. So I don't think it's going to be straightforward, but we'll have to see. We'll get into that. A couple other things here. It says at stake in that semifinal is his second career major final after the Roland Garros final, where he unfortunately blew a 2-set-to-love lead to Djokovic. That was 2 years ago. And then also the world number 2 ranking is at stake. And if Steph wins the entire tournament, he will be world number 1. And so can our boy Novak Djokovic. Okay, and now a little bit of love for Lehecka. Here we go from at Relevant Tennis saying Yuri Lehecka before the Australia... here we go. Sorry. Yeah, my screen is moving around. Yuri Lehecka before the Aussie Open, 0-4 in Grand Slams, 0-4. He was 2-8 versus top 30 opponents in his career, and he was ranked 71 after, or now, well, I guess it'll be after because he's now officially done. Yuri Lehecka at the US Open / after reaches first ever Grand Slam quarterfinals. 3-0 versus top 30, beats Borna Coric, beats Cam Norrie and Felix Auger-Aliassime. And there's Aliassime is the first top 10 win, and his live rank is now number 39. And if he had won, he would have been very close to the top 30. Unfortunately, the Greek Stefanos was a little bit too strong, but here you go. It says rise with the sunrise emoji, and let's take a look at the youngster. Big smile. You got to love it. I was very impressed with the variety in his game. When he beat Felix, I had Felix winning that one. But Lehecka showed me that he's really very willing to come to the net. That made Felix a little uncomfortable. Felix isn't a bad player at the net. He just doesn't have the instinct to want to go there. Like Alcaraz, for example. He's like, okay, I want the point to end. I'm just going to go to the net. Felix doesn't seem to have that just yet, and maybe he'll learn that. But something I really noticed from Lehecka, and I was very impressed. All right, up next, the reigning Wimbledon champion is now into the semifinals. So this is from at WTA. Semifinalist in Melbourne for the first time. Elena Rybakina needed a little over an hour in her win over number 17 seed Ostapenko 6-2, 6-4. Great display of power tennis. There's the fist pump. Got the nice blacked out outfit, which I think is straight fire. And she's got a little smile on her face. She doesn't show much emotion, but I really love when she is happy and on court. She's a very positive attribute to the tennis world. Absolutely. And then this is a really funny one. This is our girl Ostapenko. Check this out. This is from at Jose Morgado, called in by Live Hawkeye, Ostapenko. And so pretty much, I don't know, I'm not sure if you get the joke, but the joke is that Ostapenko literally thinks every ball she hits in is in, especially the close calls. And she she'll go to the umpire and say, it was out by this much, or 3 points in a row. She'll look to her bench or her box at each point and just be like, that was out, wasn't that out, and kind of doing it. So it's pretty funny. And she even said in her post-match interview that she does not trust Hawkeye Live, but I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, up next, we've got the Russian who's been quietly just playing really well in huge stages. This is from at US Open. Khachanov is into the Australian Open semis after a retirement from Seb Korda in the third set. There you have it. There you go with the fist pump. Australian Open, Rod Laver Arena, 7-6, 6-3, and then 3. He was up 3-love when Sebastian Korda had to retire. Again, they're going to do some in-depth stuff on this one, although unfortunately, match didn't go too long. But yeah, we'll definitely cover some of that. And then what else we got? Oh yeah, I also wanted to mention that Khachanov now has made the quarterfinals or better at all 4 Grand Slams, including 2 semis, one right here in the Australian Open, and the last major of last year, the US Open 2022. So his resume is getting really, really impressive. And again, I mentioned in another Cubby's Corner that team, Tsitsipas, Medvedev, I think Rublev are all players who have not reached these results at the major tournament. So Khachanov hasn't been one of the big names in that group, but he's kind of starting to really make a name for himself. All right, and then another one here. This is from Christopher Cleary in regards to Seb Korda. Clary, I should say. Christopher Clary, at Christopher Clary. What a pity after such a promising start to the season. Seb Korda retires down 7-6, 6-3, 3-love to Khachanov in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. Korda was treated for a right wrist problem in the second set. Again, I'll go over that in a little bit. And here is #Getty, the photo. I thought this was actually a really great photo because it's specifically the right wrist. So he's looking down and saying, come on, fix yourself before this next point. These guys want it. They are pro athletes and they love to do their craft. So let's hope quick recovery for Seb Korda. An impressive run, one of 3 American men into the quarterfinals. The other 2 are playing tonight, and I'm going to be calling that match. I'll let you know about that in a second. But first, let's say hi to people in the crowd. Check the comments. I'm going to go back to the beginning. And by the way, Game to Love Tennis Podcast, join YouTube membership. Like I said, our big goal now is to hit 50,000 subscribers, and we are close. We would love to get there for the Australian Open. All right. Peter, one of the favorites, one of the homies and the family of the GTL crowd, says, hi, Kavi, all GTL. Who out there predicted this one? And who isn't happy to see our girl Vika going deep in a major once more? I absolutely agree with you. Great performance as well. I'm going to go into that in the next segment here. GSL, Gary St. Laurent saying, Peter, also happy for Vika, although my tournament pick is now toast. Yeah, he had JPEG. But hey, and we got Edgar. Okay, I'm here. Nice to have you, Edgar. He says network. Where did that work? Well, I mean, it is kind of a network. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We got different segments going on. So I would say it is a network. It's a machine that works together. Okay, here we go. 12 Travel 21 says, could Vika do what Serena failed to do, win a slam after becoming a mother? Yeah, that would be very impressive. I believe there's only 3 women in history who have done that. And Serena was actually pregnant when she won the latest major she won at the Australian Open, which is kind of ironic there. Another one from Gary saying, Mr. Khachanov looks very solid, but a Steph Nole final is looking more likely. I am now a Khachanov fan after his post-match interview, an intelligent, humble, thoughtful player, class all the way. Yeah, in his post-match interview, they asked him, like, what's it like being a young father on tour? And he said, I wish I could bring my kids or my son and my daughter and my wife with me, but it's just a little difficult. He's a youngster, and yeah, he's just a very thoughtful fellow, and he was very, how do you say, not supportive of Korda, getting better. I didn't word that properly, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Okay. Skiing front back saying, hi, Kavi, Gary, Peter, Edgar, and Travel. So we got the regular fam saying what's up. All right, guys, I'm going to quickly get into some in-depth match analysis, beginning with our reigning Wimbledon champion and former Roland Garros champion, Rybakina versus Ostapenko. Okay, so here we go. I'm checking out my notes. First set, Ostapenko serving at 1-3, 30-40 down when the rain strikes. So 15 minutes into the match, there's about a 30-minute rain delay to close the arena and to mop up all the water off of the court. So they come back from play. Now, I love high IQ tennis. Now, check out what Ostapenko did. So like I said, she's down 1-3, 30-40. So she's facing a break point here. And she comes out from the rain delay and she has a first serve, but she serves a second serve, which was so smart because Rybakina was expecting a first serve, caught her off guard, and so she ended up winning that point. So I just thought that was a really smart little play. Unfortunately for Ostapenko, that point did not help her win the game as she was broken for 4-1 real quick after that point, just a couple points later. So what else do I have here? Yeah, I love that stuff. So Rybakina breaks on return for 4-1, and I say she's hitting winners with easy power, and then she ends up taking the first set 6-2. Her serve is massive, y'all. So big. Now, in my notes, in regards generally to the set, both players playing first strike tennis, meaning they're both looking to take control of the point as quickly as possible. Neither player exceptional on defense or that great at turning defense into offense, but I mean, they're so aggressive that, they're playing their game. They're the type of players that are like, you know what, you're going to have to stop me. I'm not going to have to stop you. And they have the power to do it. Okay, here we go. Second set, Ostapenko breaks early, takes a 2-love lead, and then Rybakina breaks right back for 1-2. Now we're on serve, consolidate, so now 2-all, and then breaks back again right away. At this point, I was like, oh gosh, her serve is looking so good that now that she's got a break here in the set, I think we are pretty much done. And so she continues on winning lots of short points. I noted winners off both wings, especially that easy power. Her backhand stroke is like her most natural stroke. So I would stay away from that side if I'm playing her. Big serving. And then I said, Rybakina, very within herself, doesn't really show much emotion. Okay, now here we go. Like I said, after she got the break, she was cruising. Now she's serving for the match at 5-4. She's got match point at 40-30. Ostapenko saves after a very nervy point in which she hit the net cord. Rybakina returns that, brings Rybakina in, and then she kind of loops it up. And Ostapenko with an overhead. So it was a little bit of a nervy point for Ostapenko, but she saved one match point. And then next point, a 10th ace of the match sets up match point number 2, which Ostapenko also saves with a howitzer. Totally ripped the backhand return off of a first serve as well. It was like bullet. Beautiful return of serve. However, it wouldn't last much longer as a third match point is won by Rybakina with an ace, 11th ace of the match. And there you have it, folks. Straight set 6-4, 6-2, or 6-2, 6-4 victory for the Wimbledon champion. Now it says Rybakina, first semifinalist of AO, and will face Azarenka. Now I wrote Rybakina was especially effective when pulling Ostapenko from the middle of the court. So I noticed when the Ostapenko likes to keep the rallies in the middle and then pull her opponents off court, but Rybakina has the power to do just that to Ostapenko, and she did. And I noticed that whenever Ostapenko was outside of that comfort zone, the middle of the court, the points would end pretty quickly with Rybakina pulling her off and then finishing her the other way, as Ostapenko is not the greatest mover. Also doesn't have the greatest reach as well. I wouldn't say Rybakina is a great mover, but she has the reach that can compensate for it. Okay, so what I wrote in the end, nice display of power, serving, and general composure for the magnitude of the moment from Rybakina. Leads the tournament in aces and unreturned serves. Big stat there, especially on these fast courts at the Australian Open. So I also, one last thing I noted was she had big smiles on the on-court interview. So a happy Rybakina is definitely good for tennis. I remember after she won Wimbledon, they asked her, hey, how come you don't really show emotion? And then she kind of answered that question. And then the next question in the press conference was, have you spoken to your parents yet? And then she starts crying, and then she says, hey, you wanted emotion? You got emotion. I thought that was lovely. So anyways, there you have it. That was the match for Rybakina versus Ostapenko. Rybakina goes on to the semis and will face Vika. All right, next match up, we have Sebi Korda versus Khachanov. Of course, this one did not go all the way through. Seb did get hurt, but I will mention, because the first set was awesome. It was seriously... all right, well, I'll just get into it. First set, Khachanov comes out swinging. He's on the front foot, serving big, wins the first 10 points of the match. So he, breaks to love, holds to love, and then he's up a couple of points. So Seb doesn't get a single point until the 11th point of the match. Now, I have here, Korda finds some rhythm in the next few games, but still down 3-5. Or actually, yeah, he's down 3-5, and now I should say 5-3, because Khachanov is serving for the set at 5-3. Korda breaks to get back on serve, which will eventually lead to a tiebreak. The tiebreak was a little sloppy, as the server won just 2 of the first 7 points, but then Khachanov seizes control with a 6-3 lead. Now, Korda saves 2 set points as he's serving at 3-6, gets it up to 5-6. And so now it's a 6-5 Khachanov serving match on his racket. And they have a wonderful rally. It's the 17-shot rally. Sebastian Korda makes his way up to the net, and Khachanov from the backhand side rips a beautiful backhand winner, 7-5. There you have it in the tiebreak, 1 set to love for the Russian. And then unfortunately, tragedy strikes for Korda. So here I have second set. Early in the second, Korda seemed to tweak a right wrist injury, which first surfaced in Adelaide during the warm-up tournament. Now, it wasn't an issue at all, as he's been just, making his way through big win after big win, looking healthy. But it wasn't an issue until he tweaked it again early in one of Khachanov's service games. So it looks like one of the returns that he hit tweaked it. So basically from there, what happens is he gets a medical timeout, and they're working on his right wrist in like this area here. So maybe if I'm pointing, might be easier for you to see, but like right here on this part of the wrist, they're kind of doing massaging stuff right here on the thumb side. So basically they tape him up, then he rocks his sweatband over the tape, and first couple points that he hit didn't look good at all. He was returning, just looked a little bit off the timing, and I think the tape kind of restricted his range of motion. In the next game, he's serving, and he actually serves really well. I think he had 3 big serves in a row, and now the snap of the wrist was looking okay, and you're like, all right, stabilizing a bit, but it wouldn't last long. I think obviously, you know, he's using it every single second he's on the court, that right wrist. He's a right-hander, so it was bound to get hurt. So I guess it just tweaked to a point where he was just unable. He was hitting easy rally balls into the net, but like halfway down the net on both the forehand and backhand side. And for such a crisp hitter, you know something was up. So anyways, he guts it out. He loses the second set 6-3. And he does have one really nice service game where he saves a couple break points, gutsy kind of performance. But yeah, ends up losing that set 6-3. I was actually anticipating him to not continue, but he did. He was like, okay, I'm ready to go. So he comes back for the third set, but quickly he's down love 3, and he just he calls it at the changeover. He says, I can't do it anymore. Goes up to Khachanov, goes up to the umpire. And there you have it. So Khachanov, unfortunate in the way he makes it there. I'm sure he's happy he made it, but he probably would have wanted to keep going. Khachanov was the better player for the first set and a half by a little bit. Korda started a little bit slow, and Khachanov was like on fire from the beginning. Korda brought his way up, especially when he broke at when Khachanov was serving at 5-3. So that was a big moment there, how he broke. But again, after that first set tiebreak, Khachanov was still the better player, and I would say he deserved the victory, although we don't know what would have happened if Sebastian Korda didn't get hurt early in the second set. So there you have it there. Now we're going to go to Pegula Azarenka. This is the last in-depth one I'm doing. I was unable to fully watch Stefanos Tsitsipas versus Lehecka because, again, it started around like 1:30 or 1:45 my time, and I was just beat after watching an entire day of tennis. Okay, so Pegula Azarenka, this was a really good matchup. So here I have it first. Beginning in the first, great movement and defense from both players. Good rallies with variety of lob slices, net points, overheads. So the reason I wrote that is because I noticed, you know, with the Ostapenko, it's got power game. Sabalenka, we got the power game. Pliskova, we got the power game. So it was nice to see, you know, players running around, playing defense, getting the ball back, extending rallies, forcing you know, the opponent to hit one more shot, a difficult overhead that's maybe a little further back, or, you know, a tough volley that's being ripped at you, you know, while you're at the net. So it was really nice. It was like classic tennis. It wasn't just like power, you know, like big girl tennis where they're just like powering it through 2 to 3, 4 shot rallies. Like this one had a lot of good rallies. Both are great movers, really impressive defense as well from Pegula. And then I also wrote Azarenka throwing in moon balls every once in a while just to throw the rhythm. And it was a smart play because she did get Pegula off on a couple of those. Okay, so I have it here. And then I wrote here. So now Azarenka jumps out to a 3-love lead. And then I wrote turning point ? In the moment, because Pegula was down 0-3 and she was down 15-40. So she's facing 2 break points. And you just had that feeling that this was going to be a huge game in the set. So Pegula actually does end up winning it, and she saves 6 break points in that game alone. Now, I thought the momentum was going to switch for her as she comes back to 1-3. However, Azarenka right away, she holds, takes a 4-1 lead. And it kind of just took a little, because she had a pretty easy service game after that Pegula, like, what was it? It was 10 minutes and 30 seconds, that the one where she saved 6 points, 6 break points. So that's a huge amount of time to be serving. The fatigue sets in. So Azarenka holds easily in the next game, and I think that deflated Pegula a bit. So anyways, let's see, 4-2 I have here. Azarenka serves, saves a break point in a very tense service game, takes a 5-2 lead. Now We're at 5-3. Azarenka serving for the set. She has 2 set points at 40-15, but can't convert, and then is broken for 5-4. Now, Pegula is serving at 4-5, and we're back on serve, but she needs to win this game to stay in the set. However, Azarenka forces JPEG side to side with her ground strokes, winning 4 out of the 5 points in the game and breaking for a 6-4 set. So first set, 6-4 to Azarenka. Second set, Azarenka continues controlling rallies, breaking Pegula in each of her first 3 service games in the set in just 3 break points. So she only had 3 break points, and she won each of them right away. So her 100% conversion rate in that second set. Azarenka was broken once, but other than that, faced virtually no pressure on her serve. Takes it 6-1 for the breadstick. And then I have a match analysis notes. Azarenka taking the ball early all day long. Pegula's average strike point was 0.8 meters behind the baseline, so 80 centimeters behind the baseline. Azarenka's strike point was 3 centimeters inside the baseline. So what that does is it limits the time and the space for the opponent. So that's why Pegula had to back up a bit. And by Azarenka refusing to go forward, she's taking the ball early, and now Pegula has less time to react to those. So really nice display of a game plan and execution from Azarenka, and a great run for Pegula. I honestly thought Pegula would have a tougher time against the bigger hitters, but Azarenka's performance yesterday was great. Great all-around game, good serving. Like I said, defense was really nice. She's got a wonderful slice, as we all know, used it to perfection. And it was a great one. So let's get back to the comments real quick. Oh gosh, I went a little long there, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see here. So we got Piotrek Kowalski says, hello, Magdalena Linette. Yes, I'm actually going to be calling that match a little bit later, as well as the Shelton-Tommy Paul match. Let's see here. We have Ashley in the chat saying, Gary Rublev is one of my favorite players, so he's always. So I always root for him no matter who he plays, but if he loses to Nole, I won't be disappointed. Yeah, it's pretty tough to be. Losing to Nole is nothing to be ashamed of. Sean Power here is saying Djokovic is willing to push the extreme for these slams. History is on the line. Yeah. I starting to get that feeling that it's going to be Steph versus Nole, but hey, we have to play the matches. Let's see here. Let's go. Peter Zaremba saying Stefanik. So this is the coach of Korda. Stefanik had to almost tie again and gag Novak to get that operation. This is, I guess, when Novak was being coached by Stepanek. Okay. And then Peter is asking, what do you think about Magdalena Linette? I think she's going to be in tough, but the way that she served versus Garcia, if she can continue to serve that way, she's going to give herself chances. I have her as a slight underdog in this one, however. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. What else we got? Gary, GSL, Vika was so strategic, executed her game plan beautifully. Yes, I absolutely agree. That was one of the biggest parts of my notes. I thought that she was phenomenal in that regard. Okay, y'all, I'm going to get into a couple fun facts, actually, that I found. Fun fact number 1 about the Australian Open. Did you know that the Australian Open is the most attended Grand Slam and tennis tournament each year, with over 800,000 people crossing the attendance gates over the 2 weeks? Just to give you an idea of the next biggest slam, the US Open, just this past year set their all-time record for attendance in one tournament at 776,000. So about 25 to 50,000 behind the Australian Open, but pretty cool numbers. I wasn't aware of that. Another cool fact about the Australian Open, they use about 40,000 tennis balls for the entire tournament. Then they sell each for $2 and donate to charity. So nicely done. Very, very nicely done from the Australian Open. Love to hear when people are being nice to others and sharing and giving charity. All right, real quick, just going to go over the scores. Now, I'm having an issue a little bit here. So the first score that we're going to go over is the Tsitsipas Lehecka. It was a 6-3, 7-6, 6-4 victory. And then they're not, this site for some reason, I think because it was a retirement, is not showing the score. So I'm just going to tell you the score of Khachanov versus Korda. Khachanov wins 7-6. First set, 7-5 in the tiebreak, 6-3, and then 3-love when the retirement is called. All right, we'll get to the women's scores from yesterday. Rybakina, the specifics here, 6-2, 6-4 over Ostapenko. Pegula loses to Azarenka, 6-4, 6-1 in straight sets. Okay, coming up today, we've got Sabalenka Vekic. David is going to be calling this one for the GTL Podcast Network. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Edgar. And then you'll have me right here doing Pliskova versus Magda Linette. Very excited for that one. And then on the men's side, I'm also going to be doing this match, Ben Shelton versus Tommy Paul, an All-American affair. And then later on, I'm sure our big guns, Ben and JG, will be doing this one. We got Novak versus Rublev. Yes. Okay. And what else we got? Players of the day on the men's and the women's side. Actually, before I get to that, we'll do one more quick round of comments. Gary says, with that huge attendance, how are the stands so empty for a men's round of 16 match? Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, obviously the bigger players are going to draw big. And these numbers are skewed when there is a big player like Djokovic or, you know, Serena, Iga. You know, those are the people who are going to, like, you know, make the stands bursting, right? Not always going to have a full match attendance for lesser known players. And that's the thing about tennis, you know, you got 128 players on each side, and it's difficult to keep tabs on everyone and for everyone to have huge fan bases. And, you know, it's different when you're following a sports team. You got 20, 25 guys, or maybe American football, 60 guys on a team. So it's like they're just considered one, and you kind of like follow the one unit, but you're actually following 20 to 60 players. Tennis is different. So I think it is difficult for players to gain, like, you know, to fill up stadiums just because of the volume of players that there are. Okay, one more thing. Let's see here. Let's see. Any other comments here that I wanted to get to? No, I think we're good. All right, so here we go. Player of the day on the men's side. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to guess who my player of the day is, and then I'm going to hit the button. Go ahead, make your guesses. Starting now, 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Sean Power, you got it, buddy. Tsitsipas. Peter is saying Rublev. Rublev did not play yesterday. What am I thinking here? No, he didn't play yesterday, did he? What's going on in my head? No, he didn't play yesterday, so he wasn't on there. Khachanov, Gary says Khachanov. He was the better player, and he deserved the win, according to me. But Tsitsipas has been extremely impressive. Saved 8 out of 8 break points and faced a less injured player. So that's why I had him there. All right. Who do you think I had on the women's side? Let's go. 10 seconds starting now. You have to guess. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Azarenka, she knows how to play. Azarenka, she's gonna make it her day.
There you go. Peter had it. Vika. And then the fellow also joining us saying Azarenka. Yeah. So, and then Gary as well says Vika, of course. Yeah, great performance by Azarenka. Oh, I should take this off the screen. There we go. Great performance by Azarenka. Great performance for all the winners. Unfortunate for Korda. Anyways, that's going to be it for day 9, Kavi's Corner, the Australian Open daily roundup show. Also, wanted to remind you, please help us get to 50,000 subscribers. That's what our big goal is, and we're trying to hit that before the end of the Australian Open. And also, please hit like, subscribe on this video, share it if you like. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining. I will be doing a couple of matches. Dave's going to be doing the the Vekic versus Sabalenka match. I got Lynette Pliskova as well as Tommy Paul and Shelton, and then our big guns JG and Ben, I believe, will be doing Rublev and Novak Djokovic. So stay tuned to the GTL podcast network as we are rocking. And again, thank you very much. I'm Kavi, and this has been Kavi's Corner.
It's Kavi's Corner.
Give it a like. I said give it a like. Leave a little comment, share the video, and hit subscribe. That's right.
It's your boy.
Check out this other video.